So to be fair to Ortland, but to also point to the problem here, right? I mean, Ortland is not wrong that there are good Protestant people out there who love Christ and are doing their best to follow him as best they know how, right? There are those people. That's who he's actually pointing to. I'm sure he would not be pointing to any of the people in the rest of that video as good examples. But the problem is that there is no Protestantism.
Correct. This is just some broad, vague term for some movement.
Right. It doesn't even have a clear definition.
Yeah.
In the sense that now it's used, it used to be used to refer to particular movements that came out of the Protestant Reformation. And that's how I still try to use it, as opposed to evangelicalism. But now it just gets used to mean anybody who calls themselves a Christian and isn't Roman Catholic or Orthodox. It is just thrown in as Protestant love. And the real reason there's no Protestantism and there's no Protestant church is that there's no authority, and therefore there can be no church discipline.
Correct.
This, to me, is the internal critique that defeats confessional Protestantism.
Yes.
Of the kind that Ortland follows. Because if you understand that ecclesiology, true church, false church, sect, and Ortland even referred to that in the discussion. Remember, he said, the reformers said there were true churches in the East and different places, and even in Roman Catholicism. And he's right. They did say that, right? But there are these marks of the true church. And so for them, the visible church is made up of all of the true churches, regardless of denomination, meaning de nomine, regardless of what they're named.
Yeah.
Right. But one of those marks of the true church is church discipline. And while Ortland will say,
by their own standards, I see where you're going.
He and other confessional Protestants will say how important they think church discipline is and how seriously they take it. In today's Protestant world in the United States, and I imagine also Canada and other places, functionally they can't do it.
This is the hypothetical situation of a man named Joel Webbin.
Yeah. He's Exhibit A. They cannot remove someone from the church.
Because it's invisible.
Well, they can't remove someone from the visible church anymore.
Because they can go start a church and it would be just as visible as any other.
Or go join
or just join a different one
that they acknowledge as a true church. So you get kicked out of a PCA church and you go and join a Missouri Synod Lutheran church.
Yeah.
Right? Both they're not in communion. They're not in communion with each other, but they would both say that the other was a true church.
Yeah.
Right. And so you can't exclude someone from the visible church, meaning you cannot do church discipline. And if you cannot do church discipline, that means there are no true Protestant churches by Protestant standards.
Yeah, by their own definition.
You can only do a show of church discipline. You can't do it.
It's pretty devastating.
Right. That's the internal critique.
Yeah.
So technically speaking, using the marks from Calvin, say, only Roman Catholicism and the Orthodox and maybe the Oriental Orthodox Church of the East, right, are true churches. Because they're the only ones that could do real church discipline.
Right.
Could put someone outside the church because it has a definable border. Ortland said there are borders, but that border is just defined by him based on what beliefs he thinks are key. Right? And if someone gets kicked out of his church and joins another church that holds to what he sees as key beliefs, he hasn't put them out of the church.